Hello, and welcome to a very special episode of Story Behind the Story. I'm Reese Ryan, author of sexy, emotional, romantic fiction featuring lots of family drama, surprising secrets, and a cast of complicated, sometimes messy characters. And tonight we are doing not a regular show, but this is a celebration of the release of both my final book in the Bourbon Brothers series, the Bad Boy Experiment, which is we finally get Cole's story in the Bad Boy Experiment, and then also A Chef's Kiss, which kicks off Nina Crespo's new series, Small Town Secrets. So we're going to be chatting about both of those things, celebrating with a bunch of our author friends and you all readers. So we're glad to have you here.
Mm-hmm.
So our books are both available right now. And we're sorry, first of all, that we're late because we had some technical difficulties, which it seems like a lot of you have too, because I've heard a lot of people say that they were out of power or internet or something today. So
yes,
we don't know what's happening, but we're just going to roll with it. That's how we do it.
I know. We're just going to keep going.
That's what we're going to do. So I didn't get a chance to chat with you before we came on air to find out if I know, our books both are live today.
Yes.
And so I don't know for sure if yours are in the romance bookstores, The Rip Bodice and Love Sweet Arrow. They probably are.
Yes.
And so our books are available at all retailers, but especially we want to give some love to those two, the romance retailers that are out there. And if you order your Bad Boy Experiment through them through the 30th, you'll get Bourbon Brothers swag in addition to the book itself, a signed book. So a signed book or a book plate if you get it from the Rip Bodice. So we're going to kick off the celebration with chatting with Nina, learning more about her small town foodie enemies to lovers romance. And we're going to find out what's going on with her brand new series that she's starting. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to both give you a taste of our new releases by reading from them a little bit. And that's going to be a thing tonight because all of our author friends are going to be reading from their books as well. So I'm excited about that. Mm-hmm. But first, Nina and I, of course, want to give a big welcome to all of the readers and to all of our author friends who are coming and joining us tonight. Thank you. We appreciate you all so much for being here. Mm-hmm. As you can see, we've got pajamas on. Now, Nina's are quite, more evidently pajamas. Mine are also pajamas. You probably can't tell as much. I am wearing some Bourbon Brothers swag. It's Magnolia. The Magnolia Lake, the King's finest distillery goods. So that's what I'm wearing tonight. Which I'm using it as pajamas now because I changed the logo up. So this is the old. So now this is
okay.
But I definitely
I'll allow it.
Definitely wearing pajama pants.
Not what we talked about, but I'll allow it.
Yeah. I'll absolutely wear pajama pants, no doubt about it. And actually, I had planned to wear the same pajama that we're going to be giving away in the grand prize here. Mm-hmm. And hey, Caitlin. Hey, Angela. Hey, Marie. So great to have y'all here. The hoodie, the onesie hoodie, I was going to be wearing that because I absolutely love that. It is so comfortable. Mm-hmm. But it is freaking hot here. So I'm like, I was like, no, I'll be sweating up a storm because it's so comfy and warm and it's got the hoodie on it and stuff. So I'm like, I won't be wearing that tonight because that was what I had intended to wear because it's so comfortable and wonderful, which is why we are giving that away as a grand part of the grand prize tonight. So I'm going to just make sure so you can see, like I said, we're in pajamas. We hope you're in your pajamas too, that you got your favorite adult beverage and you got some snacks and you're ready to, be here for a while. We're about to party it up for the next 4 hours. So with all of our friends. So, and speaking of giveaways, like I said, we have the grand prize, which is going to be a bundle of ebooks. And I don't have the list in front of me right now. I don't know if you do, Nina, of all the books that are in that list.
There's a lot.
Because you're getting books from a bunch of the featured authors from tonight, including me, Nina, Naima Simone.
Ooh,
Gail.
I got it. You want to hear it?
Yes, please.
All right, we have Off the Limits Lovers by Reese Ryan, The Cowgirl Surprise Match, that's what I'm going to give away, Vindicated by Sharon C. Cooper, Secrets of a One Night Stand, Naima Simone, The Bisbee Bachelor's Book Club by Kay Sterling, Then There Was You by Mona Shroff, His Perfect Partner, Priscilla Oliveras, and Bachelorette for Sale by Gail Chianese.
Thank you for saying her name for me, because I was like, I know the way I'm saying it is not right, but that
she's my co-host on
the way you said it.
She's my co-host on Inside the Romance Buzz, so I better get it right.
And I have heard it one time before, and I was like, okay, that's how you say it. And I was like, it's so lovely. The way I was saying it was not that. So for everybody who's here, the contests that are going on, including this, if you comment here, you will be entered for that grand prize. It's going to be those books that Nina just read, as well as a Savage times Fenty onesie. It's like a hooded, it's like this hooded goodness. It's a one-piece pajama. It's got a hood on it. If you live somewhere cold, you absolutely need this in your life. Like every author friend I have, I've been talking them into buying these. So like when we write together on Zoom, like half of us are wearing these hoodies.
Cool. Yeah, I can see
They're
why.
so warm and comfortable, these pajamas. So that's going to be part of the grand prize giveaway. So if you comment in this stream tonight, you will be eligible for that. And if you are watching us on Facebook, which we hope you are watching us from Facebook in the Racy Reads room, if you don't go to the bottom of the description where it says you can give StreamYard permission to show your name, then we can see your comments, but we can't see who you are. So if you haven't given StreamYard before permission, then just go to the bottom of this description of this live thing that you're watching right now of us. Go to the bottom, you'll see the link for StreamYard. Click that. You can give StreamYard permission to show your name, and then we'll be able to see exactly who you are. So Angela said, nice grand prize. Mm-hmm. And Caitlin says, I love hoodies. I agree absolutely with both. And like I said, I can't tell you how much I love that thing for real. That's why I got everybody I know wearing one.
Now you're going to convince me to get one of my own. It just
I'm telling you, especially if you live somewhere cold. And,
no,
it is just amazing. It's just so warm and so comfy. It's like a warm hug with you all the time. I just love it. And speaking of giveaways, all of the contests, because there's gonna be lots of giveaways all night from all of the different authors who are here with us. And so they're going to all the contests are going to be open until about noon tomorrow. So if you're coming in late, you're just getting off of work, or you did a different time zone, whatever, you'll have lots of time to be able to enter all of the contests. We don't want to leave anybody out. So got that all covered, I think. Anything else that you can think of right off the bat that we need to cover? I think I got everything here.
You did. You covered it all. Good job.
Okay. Perfect. So then let me get right into it for tonight. So Nina and I are both feature authors here in the Racy Reads room, which doesn't mean you necessarily know who we are. But so for anybody who is not familiar with you, Nina, tell people who you are and what you write.
Well, as mentioned, I'm Nina Crespo, and I write books that range from small town sexy to sizzling. So a little bit across the range there in terms of what you can read. And so they're sizzling, small town romance, sizzling romances. They're flirty, they're fun. So definitely, check me out. Yeah.
We love it. And right here in the description as well, you'll find the link to Nina's website, as well as the link to download your copy of A Chef's Kiss that we're going to start talking about in just a minute. First of all, just tell people a little bit about your journey to becoming an author.
I didn't hear the first part. My what of coming an author?
Your journey to becoming
My
an author.
journey. Oh gosh, it was an interesting journey. So my bio is pretty accurate in terms of how I became exposed to romance. I used to sneak into my older sister's bedroom and steal her romance novels, and so the ones that I used to read were Harlequins. And I can remember that first book that I got my hands on. I read it, and it was while she was at work. So I had to sneak the book back in her drawer where I found it. So, the keys are in the door and I'm at the last pages and I have to put the book back before I finished it. And so I can remember, and keep in mind, at the time, I was probably 13. I didn't realize that romances automatically had a happily ever after. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, what's going to happen? Are they going to get together? What's going to go? I have to know. So I was tortured for about 8-9 hours, not getting any sleep, wondering how the book was going to end. And then, of course, when I did read it, it was this wonderful, satisfying ending. And that is what hooked me onto romances. And so I was an avid romance reader for years. And I was in a completely different profession as a solo entrepreneur. And one day I was in a meeting with one of my business coaches, and she noticed that I wasn't necessarily excited about what we were talking about in terms of growing the business. So she throws out the question, well, what would you be doing if you weren't doing this? Thinking that I was going to say, no, this is it. I'm living the dream. This is fabulous. And I said, well, I laughed. And I said, well, I'd be writing romance novels. So she just right away brought the meeting to a screeching halt because she's also a good friend and she had never heard this before. So we started talking about it. And at the end of the conversation, she asked, well, I can tell that it's something that you're excited about, because my laughter, she could hear the joy. She says, well, why aren't you doing that? I didn't have a good answer. So I started writing the following week and I've never stopped.
Wow. That's a great story. I love that. I always love finding out how people came to the point of, deciding that this is what they wanted to do for a living. So, wow.
Yeah.
So let's get into talking a little bit about A Chef's Kiss. Show us that delicious cover again.
Favorite. I love this cover. This is like my favorite right now. Definitely.
I do.
Definitely.
And the title is absolutely perfect. I love the title so much. I'm always here for a good enemies to lovers romance, especially one that involves food. So tell us a little bit about the premise of the book and what inspired it.
Well, this book, the Small Town Secret series, is actually an offshoot of the Tilbridge Stables series. So I don't know if there are any Tilbridge Stables people out there, but there's a Tilbridge family. They own a stable in Maryland. It features African-American cowboys and African-American cowgirls. And Philippa is the friend of Rena Tilbridge, who was in Her Sweet Temptation, which is the second book in the Tilbridge series. So as I was writing Philippa throughout the Tilbridge series, she just really stood out to me as someone who was interesting, and the way that she supported Rena in terms of her love life and really encouraging her made me curious about, well, what's going on with her? So by the time I got to book 3, I started to figure it out. I had written a scene where the women in the story were at an impromptu bachelorette party, basically. And so they're enjoying mini chicken pot pies that Philippa has made. And somebody brings up, hey, there's this celebrity chef named Dominic Crawford. And yeah, he makes good stuff too. And he has chicken pot pie, blah, 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 blah. And if I wasn't, already with someone, he'd be the one that I'd be taking a look at. And so actually her friend Rena turns to her, as friends must do, and said, well, hey, don't you know him? And Philippa replies something along the lines of, yeah, I know him, and my chicken pot pie's better than his. So right away, it's like, that I knew that there was just something going on there. And so then that's where it planted the seed that we have this reunited lovers, slightly enemies to lovers, as well as a workplace romance going on.
And those are always so fun too. And I love the mashup of all those different good tropes. And also, you had me at chicken pot pie because
a lot lot of
chicken
people
pot
are like,
pie and
but
chicken
chicken
and
pot
dumplings,
pie,
which is
yes.
chicken and dumplings is actually in this book, in my book.
Okay. See?
And
Great
those are
minds
like
think
two of
alike.
my favorite meals. So I love it. Absolutely love it. So this is the start of your new Small Town Secrets series, which is a spinoff of the Tilbridge series. So tell us a little bit about the premise of the series overall.
Well, the series Small Town Secrets is just basically it. There's a lot of secrets going on in these books in terms of things that the characters have hidden, perhaps from the people that they are becoming involved with. So like I don't want to give away any spoilers. There is a secret that Philippa has in terms of what went on after their past relationship. And the other books as well have that secret. In fact, the one that I'm working on now, there is a curse breaking payoff involved. So I love my soapy secrets. So yes, it has like a little soapy drama to it in terms of the secrets that go on.
Yes. So first of all, Caitlin says she knows what she's going to do with her, what she's going to be doing with her Christmas card. She's going to be getting a chef's kiss. So that's great. We love to hear that. And Kay McCoy says, you had me at chicken pot pie. For sure. Yeah, the quote me on that. Yes. Yes. It's all about the chicken pot pie. Okay. And I love stories that are filled with secrets and stuff. I love that whole kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So that's awesome. So we want to hear before you get into the reading, what's next for you? Tell us what's next for you.
Well, book 2 in the Small Town Secret series. I don't have a title yet, but like I said, curse breaking payoff is involved. And the other thing I can't say. It'll be announced in 2022. I'm excited about it.
Nice. We like it. Something to look forward to. We're looking forward to it. Okay. All right. I like it. Very good. Okay. So now we want to hear a little bit of Philippa and Dominic's story. So are you ready to read for us?
I think. Hopefully I have the right page, It's hard to decide. And so just to set this up a little bit, part of, and hopefully not give away too many spoilers, but as mentioned, it is a workplace romance. And so there's a little bit of bargaining and trading off going on in terms of coming to an agreement of how they're going to work together. And so because Dominic is a celebrity chef and people are excited about him and he's nice to look at, she's decided to break the ice with her staff by having him do a cooking demo that ends up being open to the entire town, basically. And so her boss, as well as Dominic's publicist, decide that she needs to be more involved with it in terms of doing the introduction. And so before this scene, she'd been checking him out in the lobby. And so he's a nice tasty snack. He looks really good. and she was caught peeping at him, by her best friend. And so then she finds out that she has to do this after she has gone through a hectic morning of brunch. So she's got, a little bit of waffle mix and a little bit of egg and different things. And so she has to get her mind right as well as herself right to be able to introduce him at this demo. So just kind of I think it's a cute scene. So that's why I chose it. Philippa fastened the last black button on her crisp new lime greenish kitchen jacket, then pulled down the hem with a snap. So much for a simple staff presentation. Not only was she expected to introduce Dominic per Zuri's request, she now had to stay for the entire demonstration and possibly hang out afterward with him and the VIPs. The change of events also interfered with her plan of taking care of prep for that night's main dinner entrees. She didn't have time for this type of Hollywood-style hype. He had a large team to do the work on his show and restaurant. She was a chef in charge of a busy restaurant with a modest-sized staff, something Dominic and his people obviously hadn't taken into consideration when they'd upscaled the event. Philippa snatched the empty packaging for the jacket from her desk. Underneath it was the bio for Dominic that his publicist had dropped off. Chef extraordinaire, best-selling author, star of an acclaimed cooking show, a pampered chef focused on his public persona. Was that who she was dealing with for the next few weeks? She tossed the packaging in the trash and walked out of her office. A few of the staff walked by. I don't care what he makes, one of the blonde servers said. I just want to hear his voice as he describes it. He could make mud pies sound irresistible. Philippa kept her face neutral as she followed behind them, but inside she gave an inner eye roll. I'm just glad he's not a disappointment in person like some celebrities, the kitchen helper responded. The way he stood up for us about where we could sit in the dining room proves he actually cares about people. Stood up for them? Was there not enough seats? When she checked on things with Dominic's team and her staff, they said everything was good. Philippa flagged down Quinn, who was walking past. As usual, whenever Philippa talked to her, a slightly startled look came into the young woman's wide gray eyes. Yes, chef. I heard something about there being a problem with the seating for the demo, Philippa said. Is everything okay? Oh, yes, it's fine now. Quinn nodded quickly. There was just some mix-up with the publicity person. She said all the Pasture Lane employees would have to sit in the back and let everyone else sit up front. But Dominic took care of it. Oh, well, that's nice. When she and Dominic had talked about the demo, he hadn't mentioned giving her people swag. It is. We're all so excited. As Quinn rushed into the dining room, Philippa hung back and peered through the window near the top of the right-hand door. Her staff sat intermingled with everybody else. How does it look out there? The resonant tone of Dominic's voice coming from behind her ignited a frisson of awareness that moved along Philippa's spine and tingled across her nape. It's a full house. She calmed an unsteady breath and faced him. Up close, he looked even better than he had in the lobby, but hints of fatigue were in his eyes. Last week, he'd flown in after his restaurant, working in his restaurant the night before. Had he done the same this week? Thank you. I'm sorry. They both spoke at the same time. Dominic gestured for her to speak first. I appreciate you adding this to your full schedule and for making sure my staff have front row seats. If they weren't already fans of Chef Extraordinaire Dominic Crawford, they are now. Chef Extraordinaire, he grimaced. She'd meant to tease him, but from his slight wince, her attempt had failed. It didn't come out right. I didn't mean it in a bad way. Philippa held up the paper in her hand. I was just referring to the intro Amber gave me. I should have guessed. He smiled and glanced at the paper. But you don't have to say all that. And have Amber come after me? No, thank you. Dominic huffed a chuckle. Yeah, she's insistent. He took a step forward and the subtle notes of his cologne wafted into the space between them. About the changes with the demo, the door opened behind Philippa, pitching her forward, and her hand with the paper landed on his chest. Dominic took hold of her arms. You okay? As she looked into his eyes, familiarity washed over her. The automatic desire to lean into him almost overwhelmed her. Amber peeked past the door. Chef Gail. Good. You're right where you're supposed to be.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Very nice. Thank you so much for that. And thank you to everybody who's saying hello. We appreciate y'all being here. Veronica, Lisa, everybody. And someone asked from Facebook, is this still available? If you're talking about Nina's book, A Chef's Kiss, that she's reading from now, it's available everywhere widely today. Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Check it out.
Absolutely. So fantastic. Thank you so much. So everybody, you can get A Chef's Kiss.
Yes.
If you want to download the ebook, the link is in the description here below. Or you can buy it at any of your favorite retailers, including our fave romance retailers, the Rip Bodice and Love Sweet Arrow. So absolutely. Yay.
Yay. All right. So now it's your turn. I get to ask the questions. So, I don't know your story in terms of what brought you into the romance world. So can you give us a little snippet?
I'm going to try to go as quickly as I can because we have about, 10 minutes before I think Pris is coming on to do
short version.
Yes. So the short version is basically that I had started writing again, fiction again, because I wrote all as a kid. I always wrote fiction stories and stuff. I used to pass stories around the bus. But I started writing it again as an adult when I had started writing as a copywriter for other people. And that made me, I was doing a lot of writing for other people. And so then I kind of started getting into fiction writing again. And that kind of sent me down a whole rabbit hole of finding my way to writing romance again. That was always what I wanted to do as a kid, but it's just something I didn't think I would be able to do. And so, yes, I am very excited that I get to do that, to create worlds.
Yes. And we're happy you get to do that.
Yes.
I am a fan, awesome. So I am thrilled.
Yeah.
So awesome. The Bad Boy Experiment. Tell us about that. Bourbon Brothers. It's exciting.
So this is the final planned book in the series. And actually, it's book 6 in a series. I only planned to be 5 books. It's the final Abbott sibling who's kind of become a fan favorite over the course of the series, and he's been, people have been waiting for his story. He's the kind of rebel bad boy of the family. And so he finally gets his story. And it was like so bittersweet to like write the final book in the series for me and stuff. So naturally I found a way to kind of keep the Abbotts around. So as when people read the book, they'll see. Well, we're definitely going to be seeing more of the Abbotts in the future. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, it's a single mom romance, a kind of opposites attract romance. And, I just love this family. I love the story. I love how it turned out. I was super stressed about it while I was writing it, but I am super happy with how it turned out. I just love the relationship between him and his old friend, because they're old high school crushes. And so seeing them kind of like rebuild that friendship that they had, and then falling in love, and then him, connecting with her son. She has a young son who's autistic. And so it just makes my heart happy.
I know. I can tell by your face that it makes your heart happy. That's lovely. So you have an excerpt for us, right?
I do. And so I'm reading an abridged version because I'm reading an abridged version, so I got a lot of pages there. But I'm gonna get through them as quickly as I can. And I'm like pretty close to my 5 minutes. So so this is from an abridged version from chapter 5. So honestly, I thought I was gonna need to do a setup, but I don't think so, because this kind of tells you almost everything you need to know. So here we go. Cole made his way inside the Magnolia Lake Bakery. He quickly spotted the man who summoned him there, the man to whom he owed his career and in some ways his life, Milo Lockwood. He was sitting in one of the booths near the back, but he wasn't alone. He was with his granddaughter, Renee. It had been 2 weeks since they'd encountered each other in the general store. Cole hadn't realized Ren was still in town. He walked back to where they were seated. Good afternoon, Milo, Renee. If you need some time. No, son. You came at just the right time. Milo stood, gesturing to the other side of the booth. Please have a seat. Renee gave her grandfather a pointed look and pressed her pouty lips into a hard line as she scooted over. She turned toward him. What brings you here this afternoon, Cole? I was summoned, he nodded toward Milo. What a coincidence, Renee eyed the older man. So was I. Milo, who looked like he just pulled a big joke on them, failed to contain his grin. Well, now I'm really intrigued. He was pretty vague when he asked me to meet him here. I figured he just wanted to catch up, Cole said. And I assumed this was about my proposal to buy the farm. Renee folded her arms on the table, still staring at her grandfather, who seemed endlessly amused. Some things about Renee had changed. Being remarkably adorable when she was annoyed wasn't one of them. Wait, you offered to buy the Lockwood family farm holdings? Cole's brain, distracted by Ren's enticing scent and how damn good the woman looked in her tortoiseshell cat-eye glasses, finally caught up to the conversation. He turned toward her and his knee brushed against her beneath the table. A jolt of electricity traveled up his thigh and settled into places it was best he didn't think about at the moment. Renee reacted as if she felt it too. She scooted toward the wall. Yes, it is my family's farm. She slapped an open palm on her chest. His gaze dropped to the hint of her full breast, revealed by a deep V-neck t-shirt. He cleared his throat and forced himself to meet those mesmerizing brown eyes. I've offered to buy the farm repeatedly, Cole informed her. I'm aware. Renee sat taller in her seat, and they both turned to her grandfather, which is why I'm surprised he invited us both here. I invited you both here because I've made a decision about how to handle the fact that you both want that land. I'm not a man who enjoys repeating himself unnecessarily, Milo said. So I thought I'd tell you both at once. Just hear me out. Cole definitely didn't like where this was going. Milo had taught Cole everything he knew about building and construction. He'd showed Cole how to be a good businessman and an upstanding individual through object lessons. Cole had a strong sense he was in store for another. Okay, Granddad, Renee leaned back against the booth. We're listening. A wide smile spread across the man's face, and his gold tooth sparkled in the sunlight. He clapped his hands together, then leaned forward, studying each of their faces. There's an awful lot of land. I could divide the plot, giving each of you half of it. So he was going to go King Solomon on them? Under different circumstances, that might have been okay, but not for what Cole had in mind. That won't give me enough land for this project. I'm building an entire community of luxury homes, Cole said. That would certainly bring in a lot more revenue around here. Maybe help the town finally get their bridge so we don't have to worry about the old one washing out whenever the river floods. Milo nodded thoughtfully. My plan is better for the environment, and it's an opportunity to help improve the lives of those who actually could use our assistance. The wealthy can take care of themselves, believe me. Her eyes gleamed with what looked like tears. Cole fought back the urge to squeeze her hand. This was a business deal, pure and simple, and he was prepared to pay Milo Lockwood handsomely for the prime location. If it's a matter of the price, it isn't. Milo seemed insulted by the insinuation that money alone could sway his decision. It's about what's best for the community. I don't want to split the property either, Renee concurred. Besides, I doubt Cole's wealthy residents would like to live next door to my berry bushes and free-range chickens. You want to turn the land back into a working farm alone? Cole eyed her. Yes, I plan to revive the family farm. Her tone was indignant, and there was fire in her dark eyes. And do you build your houses alone? Fair, Cole said, but managing a farm is a lot of work for it. If you say a single mother, I swear to God. Milo chuckled. My granddaughter is a bit sensitive about this. You don't want to challenge her on it, believe me. Janice and I learned that the hard way. Fine, Cole threw up his hands. Farming is a lot of hard work, period. I'd hate to see you get in over your head with this, Renee. And I'd hate to see you turn my family's legacy into a bunch of in-ground pools and tennis courts for trust fund babies and socialites, Cole. She folded her arms over her chest. Cole returned his attention to Milo and tried not to think about how gorgeous Ren looked, or how amazing she smelled, or how much he'd like to hear her say his name just like that, but in a very different setting. So that is me. So that is gives you a little of the conflict about this land that they both want. And her grandfather has a very creative way of deciding who will get the land, which is going to make them end up being neighbors. Oh. So
we know what that's going to lead to.
Yes. So I love that. So thank y'all all for being here. I just want to wrap up real quick so to make sure that we don't run over into Priscilla's time. I was going to read who is coming up next, but I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to real quick put up the banner with all the names of the folks who are coming up in the next few hours. So make sure you hang around for that. So thank y'all for joining us. Make sure you comment on this to be entered into the grand prize. And we will see you. Me and Nina will both see you later on. Back tonight, we'll be coming back. Yeah. So we'll be closing out later on tonight. We'll see you then. We ain't reading again. No. We will say goodnight. So we'll see y'all then. So thank you so much for joining us and have lots of fun. Take care.
Happy release day.